Ron got himself in trouble with some other inmates um, who were either part of a prison gang or affiliated or associated in some way with the prison gang. He got into a debt with them, which clearly could not be a good situation if you're not able to take care of that debt and pay. Jake, who I've already said was in there for robbing drug dealers, was a boxer as a teenager. He was an amateur boxer, so he was very good with his hands and fighting. Um, Not the biggest person, but a very tough guy and unassuming. He didn't look what we would typically expect a dangerous person to look like. He was clean cut, well mannered, well spoken. Well, this group that was in the prison that Ron was in debt to, somehow, for some reason, I don't know all the particulars of that. This group do things for them, basically assault, harm, and severely injure other inmates when they deemed it necessary. Well, the time came when they told Jake, hey, Ron has had enough chances. He's not coming through on his payment that he owes. We need it taken care of. Something along those lines. So there's a crew that's going down to Ron's cell now. And it's going to be a bad situation. It's past the point of warnings. It's past the point of threats. It's past the point of negotiation. So this crew that's moving down there, heading toward Ron's cell, is made up of 2 lookouts and 1 main hitter and a backup. Jake is the main one who's going in to do severe damage to Ron. The 2 lookout guys are in the area. One is in an open kind of by where the guards would come in, and he's watching that area, and he is in sight of the other lookout who is near where the cells are along the wall, and there's a hand railing. He's near that. This is upstairs, so he's up on the tier up there by the stairs as a lookout, and him and the guy who's downstairs watching the door where the guards would come in are in communication via various signals. I don't know what those are, to let one another know, hey, guards coming, something like that. The guy upstairs will let the guys in the cell know. However, none of that was needed. Jake enters the cell, talks to Ron briefly. Like they're not making a big conversation out of this. Tells him, what's up? You don't want to pay? Tells him to get up. Ron's up quickly. And Jake, proceeds to start pummeling Ron. Ron is trying to fight back. He's not a skilled fighter. He's not a tough guy. He's not a street fighter. Jake is a trained fighter, is a street fighter, and is a tough guy and a mean, psychotic person. He's pummeling Ron. Ron is trying to defend himself. It's useless. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's flailing about trying to do something instinctive survival. Basically, he ends up curling up He's saying things like, all right, I'm sorry, I'll pay. Jake continues to pound him in the face brutally, knocks him down, gets on him, hits him a few more times, knocks him out. Ron is unconscious now. Jake continues punching his unconscious head, punching him in the face, unconscious. Ron's face is becoming very swollen and very damaged. He's bleeding. He has cuts on his face, on his forehead, on his cheekbone, other areas, his nose. A few teeth are knocked out. He is severely beaten. Jake drags him over to a wall, slams his face into a wall. They think he's dead. They leave. One of the lookout guys later walks by the cell and says he hears Ron in there groaning. They thought he was dead, but he's still alive. He's groaning, seemingly unconscious, but making some sort of a groaning noise. Jake goes back into the cell and continues to beat Ron again. Ron is unconscious. He's not awake. Jake beats him with his fist again, slams his face into the wall again and into the floor, and stomps on his face. They think he's dead. They leave. He's not moving. They think he's dead. A few moments later, one of them walks by, and they said this time that Ron was in there making a gurgling noise. Some sort of, I don't know what he was gurgling. Who knows what that could be? Maybe some sort of internal bleeding that was in his throat, in his nasal passages, but he was gurgling, laying on the floor, unconscious, gurgling, and what seemed to be gasping somewhat for air. Jake went back in there again. This is the third time. Began to beat him again, slammed his face into the wall again, slammed his head into the floor, the back of his head into the floor. This time killing him. He is dead now. They leave. Sometime later, guards are making their rounds to check on the safety of the inmates. Looked like that didn't work out too well this time. And as they're passing by I believe it was the second tier, as they're passing by Ron's cell, they notice there's blood all over the cell, smeared on the walls, spattered on the walls, and Ron, unrecognizable, face crushed in, covered in blood, laying in a pool of his own blood. Deceased. Blood was dry on the walls, so this happened, or somewhat dry. So this, it happened a while ago, not hours, but who knows how long. Enough time for some dryness to take place with this blood and on the guy's face. He's unrecognizable, severely damaged, and as they check him, he is deceased. He had been beaten to death by Jake. They lock everything down. Everybody has to go in their cells. They lock it all down. An investigation starts. They're trying to resuscitate Ron. I think that's the protocol. He's dead, but I think that's what they're supposed to do. So they're trying to resuscitate him. They, call in emergency medics. I believe a helicopter or emergency vehicle of some type shows up, tries to revive him, resuscitate this young man. It's no use. He's gone. Through the investigation, they're checking inmates, looking at various things about certain inmates, and they come to Jacob. They have evidence that it could be Jacob, but there's other things as they're talking to him. They notice his hands are very scuffed up and bleeding themselves. He has on his knuckles from punching Ron so many times. He damaged his own hands, and it's very evident that he had been punching something. He's very obvious scrapes on his knuckles. They also find blood on some articles of Jake's clothes, I believe his shoes. That blood is later determined to be Ron's blood. They also determine, while they're investigating Ron's cell, that they find some of Jake's blood, probably from his knuckles, in there with Ron, in fact, on Ron's bloody, crushed face. So, Jacob is charged with first-degree murder. Long story short, Jacob, who was doing a 5-year sentence for robbing drug dealers, is now doing a life sentence with no parole. Natural life, not 25 years to life. Natural life, no parole, meaning he never gets out. And that's the sentence he received for murdering this other young man who, ironically, was a drug dealer. Somewhat of a small-time drug dealer selling marijuana. So the guy who robbed drug dealers and went to prison for that murdered a drug dealer in prison. I don't think it had anything to do with him being a drug dealer. I think Ron could have been doing anything outside, anything. He could have been selling shoes. And if the same circumstances took place regarding the debt, the same outcome would have happened. Probably just a coincidence of what he was in prison for, though. So that's what I know about this. There's a few other details. I suppose I could update the video with that, and also I'm working on getting more information about the case, some of the specifics about it, and I'll add those. I'll update the information as I get that, because there were some other particulars that I don't know enough about to say for sure to put on here, but there were some things that took place during and after the killing that I want to find out more about, and then I'll update this. This is one story that just a terrible situation. Just, we're talking about two young guys who both had a prison sentence, both under 5 years. Well, Jake's was 5 years. Ron's was, I believe, 3. I want to say 3. And one of them was is just a psychopath. He's an incredibly dangerous, violent person, and he killed a man. That's all I have on it for now. Like I said, I'll update it as I can, as I get information, which I am in the process of doing currently. And when I receive that, I'll update this story of the murder. So I hope you like this story. If you do, let me know. Leave a comment, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will continue bringing these and getting more information, getting better at this, improving how I do this. This is a new channel for me. It's a new thing that I'm doing, but I have a lot of information of stories similar to this one and other ones I've already put on here. I have a lot of these stories, and I plan to present them as I get enough to tell the story. I'll do that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Take care. Until next time.